Hey everybody, I'm Emily, one of the designers here at the Quilted Cow, and I am super excited to show you how to make the Sunny Bunny accessory for the Back Home Pillow series. So I'm totally excited about that. First though, I want to thank our sponsors. We are sponsored by Husqvarna Viking Machines and Creative Grids Cutters, Mats, and Rulers. So let's get started.
Quiet on set, we are rolling.
All right, so this is the February accessory for the Back Home Pillow series, and it is called Sunny Bunnies, and I'm super excited about this one. It's so cute. Don't forget, these accessories are available on our website, and they will come with everything that you need to make the accessory block that snaps onto the pillow itself. So it's going to come with all the fabric for the front, it's going to come with your backing fabric, the interfacing fabric, the finger snaps, and a paper pattern inside your kit in order so that you can make it. Now, the Back Home Pillow itself, that is sold separately. You can find that on our website as well. Go to thequiltedcow.com, find Back Home Pillow series, and this is a 20-inch pillow, and it's a 12-inch block. So let's get started making this block, and these are in cute Lori Holt fabrics. And so let's get started with this. So you'll notice that I have everything cut out and laid out the way it needs to be. Now, when you cut out your pieces, you're going to want to go ahead and mark them with the corresponding letter as you cut them out. A couple of ways you can do this. First, you can grab your ABC 1, 2, 3 pins, and you can stick a pin in the square or the rectangle or whatever shape that you're cutting out. You can stick the pin that corresponds with the letter that you're cutting out. Or you can grab your favorite friction pin and you can letter it on the backside in one of the corners. Whatever works for you, you do want to make sure that you label each piece as you cut. So once you've got everything labeled, once you've got everything cut out, the instructions are going to tell you that you're going to need to take certain squares and you're going to draw a diagonal line from one corner to the other on the wrong side of those squares. Then once you've got those drawn, the instructions are also going to tell you that you're going to grab one of those squares and you're going to put it on a particular fabric, either in the top left corner, bottom right corner, whatever corner it tells you. It might be all four corners. It just depends on what piece it is. Once you've got that placed on there, you're going to stitch on the line in that corner. Once you've got that stitched, you're just going to grab your ruler. You're going to measure a 1/4 inch away from your stitching. Measure your 1/4 inch seam allowance. Go ahead and cut that off, and then we press that open. This is what we call flippy corners or snowball corners, whatever you want to call them, whatever makes you happy calling them that, then go ahead and do that. So whenever I press it open, I'm going to go ahead and use a little heat on that while I'm doing this. So once you've got all of your pieces with your flippy corners on them, with your snowballed corners, as it tells you in the instructions, go ahead and lay everything out so that it looks sort of logical to you. Now, we're going to make this in parts and pieces, which pieces go where and which pieces seem logical to go together first. So I'm going to start with the sun. And the first thing that I'm going to do with the sun is I'm going to put this background piece on here. I'm going to put these two pieces together, these two pieces together, and these two pieces together. So I'm going to go ahead and sew 1, 2, 3, 4, these 4 different pieces, these 4 different segments together, and then we'll bring it back and I'll kind of arrange it so that you can see what needs to go next. So let me get those sewn together and I'll be back in a moment to show you what that looks like. All right, so now that I have those smaller pieces put together within this area, now it's time to go ahead and put a few more segments together. So all of these pieces right here are going to line up in the same line. So I'm just going to stitch them one after the other to each other, press them open. These two I'm going to stitch together, and then I'm going to stitch the sun to this sun ray and this bit of background right here. So that segment's going to go together. And then once I'm finished with that, then we're going to sew both of those segments together. So once again, sew all 5 of these pieces in the column. So these 2 together, and then sew these 3 segments into that column, and then sew the 2 columns together. I'm going to go ahead and do all of that. I'm going to show you what that looks like whenever I get back. Remember though, when you're doing this, go ahead and chain piece if you like to chain piece. I love to chain piece. Use your spider if you want to. If you haven't seen a spider, it's basically a spare bit of cloth that you put underneath your needle as you finish the bit of chain piecing that you need to do. That just takes up the thread, and so you're not cutting thread constantly. And then also pin if you want to and press to the path of least resistance. So I've talked about that before, but we can talk about it again later. So let me get this sewn together. I'll show you what it looks like when I get back. All right, so I have the sun unit finished. Like I said, I went ahead and sewed the two columns together, then sewed the columns to each other. One of the things I pressed to like the path of least resistance on most of these. So I've got these open areas of background that I went ahead and pressed to so that the ones with a lot of seams, they were open. And then this last one, because there's a lot of seams that meet in odd places, I went ahead and just pressed this last one open. So it'll lay just a little bit flatter. It's not going to matter that much if you press it to one side or the other, just whichever one you prefer. So once again, with your seams on this whole project, go ahead and press them however you want them, however's comfortable to you, however they just decide they want to go. All right, so the next one we're going to work on is the little bunny. So I've got the little bunny mostly ready. Now his head unit, here's his ear. Or her ear, I don't know. You call him or her. So we've got the ear here, and then the head, and here's the eye. So I'm gonna sew the eye together, the top rectangle to the eye square, and then the bottom rectangle on. And then I'm gonna sew the ear along with the back of the head together because those pieces are gonna fit this piece. So in the diagram that you have, whenever you get your pattern, the diagram is gonna show you the different areas that are just going to kind of fit naturally together. You want to kind of build on, you've got this rectangle and add this rectangle to it, and that rectangle fits exactly where you want it to go. And then this rectangle is going to fit to that one. And then this piece is going to fit to that, it's going to fit to that. So as you go through this pattern, you'll see kind of how logically everything goes together. So I'm going to go ahead and sew these two pieces together. Sew this background to the top of the ear. I'm going to sew the eye unit and then go ahead and finish out the head. Go ahead and sew this section to that section to that section to that section. I'm gonna get that sewn together and show you what that looks like when I get back, and we'll finish out the small bunny. All right, so now that I've got the little bunny's head put together, I'm gonna go ahead and put his body together. You'll notice that his tail is over here, and then here's his front foot. So basically, the way that we're gonna put this together is that I'm gonna put these two pieces here, and then I'm gonna put these two pieces, and then put this top segment on these two pieces here. And then these three segments are gonna fit together. So once again, these two pieces together, these two pieces together, then that on those two, and then put all three of those segments together. I'm gonna put those together and be right back and show you what it looks like. All right, now that we've got the little bunny body put together, now it's time to go ahead and attach his head to his body. And then we're gonna put this background strip on here. And once all that is put together, then it's gonna be time to go ahead and piece it to the sun segment. So that's how that's gonna be put together. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the head and the body together, grab this background, put that on the side, and then sew it to the sun segment. And that half of the block is going to be finished. I'm going to show you what that looks like when I get back, and then we'll start on the big bunny. Okay, so now that we have the little bunny and the sun put together, we're just going to leave them alone just for a little bit and work on the big bunny. So you'll notice I have it laid out pretty logically. There's a little bit of, you need to make sure that you put this section together before you put that section together. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start by putting the nose and the eyes and the main part of the head together. So I'm going to sew the eye section here, and then I'm going to sew the nose to that, to the main part of the head. And then down here, I'm going to sew this foot to the background piece and then sew that to this part of the body. So I'm going to go ahead and get those two sections finished out so then we can start adding on to that, and I'll be right back and show you what that looks like. All right, so now that we've got this section of the big bunny together, the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put this section, the bunny tail section together. So we've got the tail and the bottom of the body and the back, and then this background. So I'm gonna put these two pieces together and then put all three of these pieces together to each other, and then sew all of that to each other. And then after that, I'm gonna go ahead and put the background pieces on next to the ears, and then put this background piece on to everything. So this section is going to fit onto that one once that's pieced. This section, once it's pieced, is going to fit onto that one, and then that is going to fit onto that, and then the big bunny will be together. And let you look at that whenever I get back. I'm going to go ahead and put all that together and press everything, and I will be back in a moment. All right, so I'm super excited about the progress that we make. It's so wonderful. It's so satisfying to see these get put together. So the last thing to do is go ahead and attach the bunnies together and then put the grass on the bottom. So I'm going to do that, and then we're going to get to finishing this accessory out. It's super simple to finish it out. So I'll get to this and let you take a look at that whenever I get back. All right, so now we have the Sunny Bunny block put together. Super excited to do this. The last thing that we're going to do is we're going to take our interfacing, trim it to size, and we're going to adhere that. We're going to fuse that. So this the bumpy side is the glue side. So we make sure that that is on the wrong side of the block. So you're going to lay that. I like to lay it face down at first so I can kind of get everything lined up as well as possible. Make sure that your block is lined up as much as possible. If you're a little bit shy on a certain area, as long as it's within that 1/4 inch seam allowance, you're good to go. So I just take this to my ironing surface, lay it down, get a nice hot iron, and make sure that it melts that glue and adheres to the back of that block. So once I get this done and get this all fused down, you know, so turn it over and fuse it from this side too, because I always fuse it from both sides. So once you get it fused down, what you're going to do is you're going to lay your backing fabric right sides together, and you're going to sew 1/4 inch seam all the way around, leaving an opening in the bottom. And one of the reasons why I do that is because there's no seams here in the bottom, so I leave the opening where there's no seams, so that whenever you fold everything in, it folds in nice and neat. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to fuse my interfacing to the wrong side of my block. Then I'm going to lay my backing right sides together. So all the way around, leave an opening in the bottom so that I can turn this right side out. So once you get it sewn, you clip the corners, turn it right side out, press it really good, and top stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and do all of that, and then I'll show you how to put the snaps on in just a moment. Okay, so once again, I fused the interfacing to the back side of the block. I put the backing right sides together with the block, 1/4 inch all the way around, clipped the corners, turned it right side out, poked out my corners with my nice little stiletto here, and then top stitch 1/8 of an inch all the way around. So the last step is to install our finger snaps. Now, we've talked about the finger snaps before, and they are awesome because they do not require an actual tool to install the snaps. So what happens is that you do need to cut a hole in the fabric though. So, I mean, it just doesn't require a tool to put the snap on. You don't have to squeeze it with a tool or anything. So you're gonna mark a 1/2 inch in from the top and bottom and sides all the way around. Just make a little mark right there. And there's a couple of ways that you can go about cutting the hole in your fabric for these snaps. One is you can use this precision seam ripper. It's a nice blade, and it's got a little hook on it, and you just kind of dig that down into the fabric. You can use an extra little cutting mat to make sure that your cutting mat is protected so you're not digging down into your really nice cutting mat. And you just want to make sure that that tip goes through about 1/8 of an inch all the way through. Once you've got that hole done, then you can grab your cap from your snap set. So each snap has a cap, and then there's also a stud and a socket side to each snap. So you would install the cap with the cap side up, and there's a little shaft in that on the other side of that cap that you're going to just put through that hole that you just poked in, grab the other side of your snap, and just snap it on with your fingers. That's not a problem. The other way that you can do this is to grab one of these little hole punches. We do have these on our website as well. And you're going to line up, there's just a little punch, there's a little teeny tiny hole that's about the same size as the shaft on this cap. And it's just going to poke that hole right where you want it to be. So you stick that right over the mark and you squeeze. Not a problem, just does a little bit of a snap like that. And you're going to put the shaft of the cap through that hole that you just made. Once again, it's like almost a perfect size for that. You do need to make sure that your fabric is still just a little bit squeezing around that shaft. And then you're going to make sure that the stud snaps are in the top positions and the socket snaps are in the bottom. So I'm going to grab the stud snap. I'm going to place the back side of that stud on the back side of that, and then just hear that pop. It just popped right on. So that's how you install these finger snaps. Super easy. Once again, you don't need a tool, a big plier set to try to put the snaps on. They just go on with your fingers. You do need to cut through the fabric though. So this is the Sunny Bunnies accessory. This is the new accessory for February for our Back Home Pillow series. Super excited about it. I really love these bunnies. I think they're super cute. Once again, head on over to our website, grab yourself the kit. The kit includes all of the fabric, the interfacing, the finger snaps, and the paper pattern that you need in order to make this accessory. Grab that. If you don't already have your pillow, make sure that you grab your pillow kit as well, because that pillow kit is going to include all of the fabric that you need, plus the finger snaps and the paper pattern in order to make a quilted pillow of this size. It will not include any batting. That's up to you which batting you want to use, but it will include all the fabric and a piece of muslin so that you can quilt the pillow before you put the backing on. So grab those up, make sure that you make these accessories. I hope that you have fun making this accessory and the pillow. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe to our videos so we can keep bringing you this content, and have a wonderful day.
Okay, you wicked cool quilters, good job. You made it to the end. We would like to thank our sponsors, Husqvarna Viking Sewing Machines, Creative Grids, rulers, rotary cutters, and mats. Thanks for watching.